Hey people, Wall here with Wallcraft, and today we are going to be taking a bit of a detour. Peculiar happenings have occurred in the past week and a half, about 2 weeks. With the recent TurtleWoW leaks, a lot of buzz and news has been around, and this video was just sent to me this morning. It was posted on 4chan, of all places, in the WoW private server general thread. And it was a link from the Alexensual live stream. So people wanted me to take a look and listen to see what he has to say about the TurtleWoW leaks.
In here, Discord screenshots can be fake. Like, this is a legit nothing burger. There's nothing in here. If I had to guess, this thing was created by a schizophrenic weirdo from another competing private server, and I know exactly which one it is. I mean, other people probably know as well, but I could probably guess what's going on here, and I know exactly which server it is, and these people need to go outside. I mean, nobody's spying on you from the FBI, okay? We all know where this is coming from, and it's all bullshit, and it's jealousy. There's nothing here. Anyway, I'm out. If I stream again, I might stream TurtleWoW. We'll see. I have to set up.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, Alex. Alright, what a wonderful clip. What a lovely clip. From our favorite WoW private server streamer, Alexensual, claiming that the TurtleWoW leaks happened at the hands of a schizophrenic private server developer. We can just assume he's speaking about me, of course. Or someone associated with Wallcraft, perhaps. First off, let's just dispel that rumor. No, I had nothing to do with the TurtleWoW leaks. I have absolutely no association with TurtleWoW. I've never played TurtleWoW. Maybe when it first came out, when it had like 50 people on it. I think that's the last time I've actually been on TurtleWoW. 5 years ago. But no, I have nothing to do with the TurtleWoW leaks. It's preposterous to even accuse me of that. I have zero association. Frankly, I don't even think I have the skills to pull off what the leaker did, which is, ironic enough, simply because I don't dabble with forum software, and he used forum exploit. So, as to any of that, no, that's actually insane to accuse me of. I've clearly have nothing to do with that. I gain nothing from that. I have zero incentive to do something like that. The fact that he says that I hacked TurtleWoW out of jealousy is, quite frankly, fucking retarded. Something I would expect from Alexensual to say, of course, because he's a midwit. So, yeah, that's about all the clip, really. It's about a minute long, where he's, first off, accusing me of TurtleWoW leaks. Second off, claiming that I'm schizophrenic. I'm very clearly not, okay? So let's just dispel that rumor. People who suffer from schizophrenia are deranged, insane, in a very noticeable way, okay? They don't possess mental acuity. They can't form coherent thoughts or statements. If you've been around the internet, you've probably encountered somebody who is legitimately schizophrenic, and the things that they write are just paragraphs of gibberish. So it's really nonsensical to call me schizophrenic. I have a large body of work dating years now, almost half a decade, that can be pointed to. Long history of forum posts on Discord, and yes, sometimes things that I say are objectionable by some people. They don't agree with the things I say, but it's never raving gibberish. It's backed up by facts and information and source, and some things do delve into the esoteric, which is, well, really, I think, where people point fingers when you start talking about, hermetic cults and stuff like that, dating back, thousands of years in Europe. But that's neither here nor there, nor is it really grounds for calling somebody schizophrenic. I think that's a very boilerplate argument in conspiracy circles, even, for most of the things that I talk about. There's really nothing out there. So to see Alexensual calling me schizo is fucking hilarious. Alexensual, let's just make this clear. Alexensual is a midwit retard, probably has an IQ that can be measured with a rectal thermometer, and he is very notably a bipolar spurg. Okay? He has the strange habit of surfacing every 6 months or 7 months for like a month or two. He'll get some sponsorship deal, and then he'll have a literal bipolar meltdown and delete all of his content. Okay? That's insane. That's fucking schizo behavior, frankly. So, I've never done that. I can tell you that. I've never deleted all my content needlessly for no reason. My content has been deleted by YouTube and other, governing bodies, but that's simply out of my control, not at my hand. So, frankly, I think it's a really stupid statement from him to make. I think he's a really stupid person. I don't think you could actually have Alexensual point to anything he's ever created or done that's noteworthy, besides, running a Twitch channel, streaming World of Warcraft servers that I make. I think it's insulting, more so than anything. And yeah, the adage, the trope that, Wall's a schizo, it gets repeated by literally one person who I kicked from my guild in Highjaw like 7 years ago. You can go on WoW Private Server General, I can pull up, infinite amount of screenshots. The guy is very well known by the community for being a piece of shit. His name was Fierce on the Highjaw. He went by the name Black Sheep on Everlook. He fucking sits there for 14 hours a day, same fagging in the WPSG threads under different names. And the retard couldn't even figure out how trip codes work, so he was just typing gibberish in the name field. Like, the guy's an actual moron. And I think that's really the problem that the world faces these days, is everybody's a fucking midwit. I know people don't really grasp that often because they too are midwits, but anybody who is got 3 digits in their IQ instead of 2, it can very well tell you that society has lowered its standards exponentially, and that's mostly to accommodate, people from places where the average IQ is 87, 88. But it's had a resounding effect on everybody else in the society, and that the bar dropped so low that somebody like this can still make these retarded accusations. And let's delve right into that, really, that I want to get into the heart of this. There's a lot of people like Alexensual who are midwits on the internet, who say things that they think are funny or perhaps true or speculative, whatever, but they don't really understand the potential consequences of their actions or their words. This TurtleWoW leak, as he discusses in this video, it's a big nothing burger. Not really. It's a big nothing burger to somebody who's stupid, like Alexensual, who's, drawing with crayons on a wall, basically. But to somebody who's a developer, or somebody who at least has knowledge of computers, how they work, or social infrastructure, engineering, things like that, it's very alarming. It's a very alarming leak, and it's alarming because it could have been far worse. And the information that did get exposed, people were expecting Krog and Shenna to be shoveling gold into the pockets of Chinese farmers openly and laughing about it in their chat logs. Frankly, I don't think that's even really the case. Why would that be? But what it does show is that there is a massive network of collaboration between developers of all sorts of projects. There was a big itinerary list for the Gamescom that's upcoming for different developers, and many from different projects. These databases contain a lot of personal information, and more so, what this leak could have been in terms of the worst part is it could have used remote code execution. RCE exploits exist in the client, and you're very lucky if you play TurtleWoW and you signed in during this whole hack that you weren't affected. Because if this person who was hacking TurtleWoW was actually intelligent and a black hat person, and I'm not going to say that the person who did it was unintelligent, but they're very obviously they're not a black hat actor. They're not somebody who's very skilled in abusing these vulnerabilities. They're not somebody who has very deep depth of understanding in how the code works. They could have easily done far more dangerous and damaging things, not just to TurtleWoW, but to the users. This brings it back to the point of remote code execution. There's an exploit in Warden where, upon signing into a server, Warden can have an injection placed from the server to your client, and it can execute any code it wants. Quite literally anything. They could install malware. They could install scrapers that will pull site cookie information and different pieces of data that sites use, basically allowing them to get into anything that you've been logged into. You know, your Facebook, when you log into Facebook on your computer, it stores your login session in a session token, and those can be stolen very easily. If you have full access through remote code execution to somebody's computer, those can be abused in such a dangerous way. The fact is, if somebody was malicious, let's say if Alexensual was right, and it was me that did that, which again, it's not, but if he was right, wouldn't that concern him enough, if he was intelligent, to not make comments like that that could be seen as inflammatory? If I was a malicious person, let's say I was a dangerous schizophrenic, and he pissed me off in this way, does he not understand the implications of all this? The developers of all these private servers are highly networked, they're friends. I'm a bit of a pariah. You know, they're not networked with me, I'm not friends with them, which is why they berate me, call me a schizo, and all sorts of insults. Is because I'm not part of their transsexual cult. But what it really implies is that somebody like Alexensual could log into practically any project and be targeted by any of the developers if he had really upset them and if they wanted him to face some sort of punishment. How easy it would be for them to inject through the Warden something like child porn into his computer and then tip off the FBI. And then next thing you know, he's getting raided and sent to jail for a very long time. That would be a horrifying prospect. And that's why I don't log into any private servers that aren't my own. Wallcraft. And my Wallcraft community and my players, they at least have the reassurance that for however intelligent I may be, I'm really not that computer literate. Okay? I'm self-taught in C++, and I'm not a malicious person. I'm an ardent Christian. I would never do something malicious, nor would I have the capabilities to. So, for me and my friends, Wallcraft is safe, and frankly, I have no interest in attracting public players to my server anyways. It's a small community server for my friends to enjoy, first and foremost. But the implications of all this is that there are dangerous exploits that could be used maliciously against you and targeted against you. And people like Alexensual, who, again, we'll recap, people like Alexensual who call me schizo, they all have one thing in common, is that they're naive retards who don't understand how the world works. And again, this all stems back to something that happened during Everlook. And I'll recap the story right now, just so that there's clarity. Back during Everlook, when I had falling out with White Kidney over essentially being able to access any portion of the server as a developer that I needed to for work, he started making accusations that I was some sort of Fed. And that pissed me off, because I am no fan of the Feds. I'm no fan of the federal government. But some time ago, I did face an arrest for felony possession of a weapon in New York State. And the agreement, effectively, was I would be able to get the charges dropped if I were to volunteer my time for the New York State Democrat campaign. And that was for the 26th Congressional District, in the campaign running between Brian Higgins and who is the incumbent for the past decade or whatever, and whoever else. They effectively wanted to unseat Brian Higgins from his position in Congress, and they did so. He's no longer a congressman. So Luckily, my charges were dropped there, and I didn't have to face any prison time for weapons trafficking. But the world is full of intelligent, dangerous people, and it has a lot more of uninterested, dim-witted retards floating around out there. And those people, it turns into a wolf and sheep dynamic. And sometimes you have people like Alexensual who are crazy, frankly. I think Alexensual is really the fucking crazy one. And if I had to speculate, I think he's a dangerous retard. Not a insidious, malicious hacker, but he's the kind of guy who would probably fucking get drunk and beat his girlfriend to death. That's the kind of guy he comes off as. People like him, fucking idiots on the internet, could be so easily targeted and very easily set up into some sort of blackmail operation, which is, frankly, something that we see very often nowadays. As a last piece of advice I'd like to give to anyone on the internet who thinks that there are no repercussions for the things that they do, you're sorely mistaken. The internet is quite literally still the Wild West of the world. It's a dangerous place if you don't know what you're doing, and if you're making a big problem for people, you can be targeted. And that's something to always keep in mind, is that it's all fun and games until it isn't. And this leak, this TurtleWoW leak, was probably the most solidifying concept to all of this. I don't know really how to phrase that, but really put the nail into the coffin there on what is secure and what isn't. If this person who did the TurtleWoW leak really wanted to be malicious, they could have easily stolen everything from you as a player, if they wanted to. And who knows, they might have tried but failed. That's the story that I heard internally, is that they did try to perform remote code execution but were unable to, because it's a very technically complicated process that not many people are able to pull off. Probably 5 or 6 people really would be able to pull something like that off in the whole world in terms of such a short time frame. There's very few developers with the knowledge and skills of this type of software. So you got very lucky there. But I would always be secure in everything I do when on the internet, regardless of who's running the show. It could be Google. I could be logging into a Google website, punching in my credit card number for a Google Pay service, and have my data stolen because Google could have a data breach. It happens to multi-trillion-dollar companies. You don't think it could happen to some lady in Russia who runs a private server? And again, I'm not a huge fan of TurtleWoW, but I have no ill will or resentment towards TurtleWoW. I think they're, in my mind, they're like the Walmart of private servers. Everyone hates Walmart, but everyone shops at Walmart. So I have no ill regard to TurtleWoW, or Shenna or Krog. I have nothing bad really to say about them. Obviously, everybody, especially in the community, has their own issues and their own problems. As to whether or not they're trustworthy individuals, I probably wouldn't go that far. But the fact is, they run a successful project. They run a project that has been well maintained for years. And I'm not talking about their spaghetti code, which I haven't looked over their code base, and I don't really care to. I'm out for myself in terms of what I want to develop, and I want to work on Wallcraft specifically, just to see my own dreams and visions come true. It's a creative endeavor for me, and it's a self-learning experience. This was all self-taught. When I first started vMango's development, I had zero understanding of anything. I didn't know how to use GitHub. I didn't know how to use Visual Studio. I didn't know how to compile a program. It was a whole new experience for me to really delve into and learn over the years. And I'm very grateful for the people in the community who have helped me along the way in terms of learning things and getting to where I am today. So I have no ill will towards anyone in the community. There's a lot of bad faith people and a lot of clowns and cunts, but that's real life. That's how it is. That's real politic. In terms of anyone out there who's malicious, though, yes, there are malicious people and malicious developers that you have to watch out for. One example I can think of is somebody who paid me $1,000 to develop a server, Kalimdor Gaming, and he was apparently some sort of problem person, but I hadn't known that for the first few weeks developing for him. And then he did some crazy stuff and basically went on a video recording of him like verbally abusing his wife and child. So I thought, okay, well, I don't want anything to do with this clown. And then he harassed me for years after that. He still will stream occasionally, drunkenly, on Retail WoW and talk shit about me. You know, it's like, people are insane. There's a lot of actual crazy people out there. People who, you know, people like to joke around too. Oh, it's the schizos. Legitimately, people with schizophrenia are dangerous if you're in the same room with them. But, you know, on the internet, they're usually babbling idiots. They're not very intelligent. You're not encountering Terry Davis people out there. And look at Terry Davis's body of work. It was largely self-reflective, to say the least. You know, him sitting alone in his own room talking to himself about his own operating system. It's obviously not that dangerous. What you need to watch out for is psychopaths. People who are malicious, they're devious, they have something to gain from you, and you're using their resources and utilities. You know, I would be concerned, because it's just a matter of rolling the dice then at that point, because if you don't trust them, and you're giving them your info, and you're literally allowing them full access, potentially, to everything you own on your network, it could turn out bad. So, as a player, as somebody out there listening in the community, always practice good security. That's first and foremost, practice good security. I play and I develop on a computer that is solely dedicated to playing games and developing games. It doesn't have any personal information passing through. It doesn't have my credit card numbers passing through it. So it's less of a vector of attack. If I were to get malware or a virus, the worst thing they would do is be able to, delete Wallcraft. Everything's backed up. So, you know, that accomplishes nothing for them. Leak my code, I'll leak it myself. I don't care. I'm happy to open source everything I develop. The biggest problem being that half the things I developed simply aren't fully finished, and I have so much more work I want to get done on them. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. You know, I want things to be fully fleshed out before they're released to the public. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. It's been rambling on a little bit. Normally I don't do webcam videos, but I figured sitting in front of a webcam and just simply letting people see that no, I'm a very normal, well-adjusted person, very well-spoken. I'm absolutely not schizophrenic. Again, I've worked for a congressional campaign, and all of that was vetted, so they don't let crazy people around congressmen. I can assure you that. Anyway.